Hi guys, so I'm here today. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, something a lot of people don't really tend to talk about because it's kind of taboo to talk about, but I'm going to talk about binging. I haven't really talked about it on my Instagram in a while. Not a lot of you know, but last summer and then a little bit this past winter as well, I struggled a lot with binge eating. It never really got to a crazy, super deep dark hole level that some people that I know do get to. I definitely struggled with it, and it definitely happened for a couple of months, and I really couldn't pull myself out of it. I did end up pulling myself out of it. I actually started a prep, and that's how I pulled myself out of it. I don't recommend doing that. That's probably not the way to do it. But yeah, that's what I did last summer after my first NPC show that I coached myself through. I did do a flexible prep, so it wasn't necessarily that a flexible prep will prevent binging completely, but just dieting in general and then coming off of a diet and then not having a plan afterwards is really what was my issue. I didn't have a plan. I was here in California for 3 months, and by the end of my prep I was like excited that I had my sister, my family visiting, and then I had a lot of other things going on, and I really just like did not, I was working at a restaurant. I binged once, and then after that I was continuously going through cycles of having to like make a calendar and say like no binging 2 days, no binging 3 days, and like I would do it again. And then if you have ever been through that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I kind of want to clarify a little bit actually what binge eating is, because a lot of people think that like binge eating is overeating, and binge eating is also binge eating disorder. So there's kind of like a few levels of it that I want to talk about. Overeating, we'll start with there. Overeating is probably when you have like Thanksgiving dinner or something, and then you go back for like seconds and thirds, and you're like, I'm full. Crap, I overate. I ate too much. And then you have like a food baby, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my god, is it a boy or a girl? And then you laugh about it with your friends. This weekend at the Olympia, Emily and I overate. We didn't binge, but we just like ate way too much. It happens. Like that's something that if you're human, overeating happens sometimes. That's still not considered binging. Binge eating disorder actually has to be classified as with certain criteria in the DSM, which is the medical diagnosis book for psychological disorders. So there has to be certain criteria that a person has to meet in order to be diagnosed technically with binge eating disorder. And I have a couple of those things written down. It must occur on average at least 1 time a week for 3 months to be diagnosed under the criteria for mental disorder. You have to have loss of control over eating, recurrent episodes of consuming food quickly and in large amounts that most normal people wouldn't consume in the same situation. Consuming continuously when you're not even hungry and uncomfortably full and you continuously eat. Eating foods that you don't even really crave but are just there and you're going to eat them anyway. Consuming alone due to the embarrassment of the amount of food that you're eating, and feeling significant distress about the binge. Those are some of the criteria. I think it's like you have to meet 3 or out of whatever. Regardless, you have to be diagnosed. It must occur on average at least 1 time a week for 3 months to be diagnosed. But so you can't just say you have binge eating disorder, but you can certainly say if those things have occurred to you that you have had struggles with binge eating. So for me, I did the alone eating. Like late at night, I would just go in the kitchen and like find whatever was there, and I would start with something like fat-free Cool Whip, and I would eat a little bit of it, and then I would start eating it more quickly, and then I would go find whatever else was kind of there, even if it was like food that wasn't mine, food that I didn't even really like normally on like a regular basis, and I would eat it as fast as possible until I felt like super bad about myself. So that is what binge eating is. And I know recently, since that happened to me last weekend, it was the first time that happened to me in like months and months and months. My whole, like, most of my reverse diet and my entire prep was like pretty controlled, but like the second that I had like a little bit of freedom, so I went to like a party where there was food just laid out in front of me, and I allowed myself to say, okay, never mind, it's fine. But I was there the whole entire night, and then I kept eating the whole entire night, even though I would like go in the bathroom and eat like whatever I grabbed, just so people wouldn't see it. So that's what I consider a binge. This weekend, Emily and I went out to get food, and we ate too much of it, and then we just like went to bed. I wasn't hiding it. I didn't feel like, sure, I felt like a little shameful and guilty, but it wasn't the same. So like I said, I posted about that last weekend, and then I got a lot of like super awesome feedback from people saying that it really, really inspired them, and it helped them to know that I am not perfect and that they can relate, and they're not the only ones going through that. So like I said, like back when I did have the issue, I didn't have as many, not nearly as many followers, so I didn't really get like a chance to post about it and to like reach a lot of people. So posting about it recently was like so mind-opening to me, that so many people could totally connect and feel better just off of knowing the fact that somebody else that they follow is going through this, like, some issues too. Like, also the other thing about the fitness industry is that people only post the highlight reels. So following a fitness person or your favorite fitness Instagram or something like that, like, it looks like they're just have it easy, they love training, they love counting their macros, they're always on point, and everything is like happy unicorns all the time. It's not like that at all. So I posted a picture saying what I do after I've overeaten or binged, and a lot of people said it was really helpful, so I'm gonna like repeat those tips here so you guys can refer back to this if you ever struggle. I know it's going to be like on my Instagram, but you're not going to want to go scroll back through Instagram. You want to just like listen to someone talk or something like that and remind you what to do and like how to get your mind straight after you've done something that you feel super guilty about, and you want to, and it's like really hard to get out of that hole, and just it just keeps perpetuating if you keep letting it happen, and it's really all about mindset. So here are a couple of things that I want to share with you guys. Number one, you will gain weight. If you step on the scale the day after a binge, what are you going to expect? The same weight? Probably not. It's not going to be all fat gain. You can't gain 6 pounds of fat in a night. It's not going to happen. A lot of it's water weight. A lot of it's from not drinking enough water, having way too much sodium, or not enough sodium and too much water. Like, it's a lot of it's water weight. It will be gained. You will see it. I recommend not going on the scale for 4 days. What else did I write here? 3 or 4 days without the scale is going to help your body. That's like the time it takes for me, that I notice anyway, for my body to regulate after I've overeaten or binged. And then I check again in 4 days. And most of the time, if I'm consistent, which I'll talk about, I get pretty much back to normal. Especially me differently, I've also am at the point where I'm at like 8 weeks of my reverse diet, and I have been able to kind of like build my metabolism back up a little bit in order for my body to like run properly, and my metabolism's running great right now. So luckily I didn't like get super affected by it, but you might get a little bit more affected by it, just depending on where you are in your like fitness journey. Number 2, hydrate. So like I said, you're going to be like holding a lot of water. Drink as much water as humanly possible. The more water that you drink, the more you'll pee it out, the more you'll get your body's like hormones back to normal and everything running properly, and it'll help with digestion, and it'll help you push through your workouts. Like, there's a million reasons why I could list why water is great for you and how it's going to help, but seriously, the more water that you drink, the more water weight that you lose. So I try to drink like 1.5 gallons at least after I've overeaten or binged for a few days. It's not going to like flush out the toxins or anything like that. You have your liver and your kidneys for that. That's definitely a myth. It's not for toxin flushing out. It's just to get the water weight out and to help your body start functioning properly again. Also, after you overeat or binge eat, cortisol is going to like spike super high. You're going to be really guilty, you're going to feel shameful, you're going to be stressed about it, it's going to be an issue. So the relationship between sodium, water, and cortisol gets super shifted once that happens. So again, the water is going to be super helpful. Number 3, have really kick-ass workouts. Like, you're gonna, okay, so you've eaten a lot of extra calories, probably at night. The next day, you're gonna be able to use those calories to have such a good workout. Like, use them for fuel. Go squat, go deadlift, go do a compound lift, go have like a decent lift session, lift heavy, lift with good form, lift with intensity, lift with like passion and attitude, and be like, I'm gonna kick this binge and my guilty feelings to the freaking curb and use them to fuel my workout. Like, you're gonna even be a little emotional too. Use it to have a good workout. I don't advise that you do like, you punish yourself with extra cardio. I like to do a little bit of cardio. Ooh. Why am I blurry? There I am. I like to do a little extra cardio just so I can sweat more. That also aids in getting the water weight out. So like sweating in a hot gym, doing a little cardio, like getting on the Stairmaster and just like sweating and going in the sauna and things like that will help flush out the water too. But like, if I have a little bit of extra energy, I'm going to go do some cardio and do some sprints, and again, use that fuel, that power, that passion, that emotional state, and the extra energy from the calories to give like another 20-minute HIIT session. It doesn't have to be like an hour and a half of cardio the next day and the next day and the next day. So punishing yourself is never ever the answer, which leads into my next point. Don't completely cut back your calories the next day. Again, that's really just going to keep perpetuating the binge restrict cycle. So when you restrict and you punish yourself the next day, it'll just like trigger another binge to happen. So I always recommend to just go back to your normal macros, go back to your normal training, maybe add an extra little bit of cardio session, but just go back to normal. My friend Tyler also commented on this post, and he even read that using the cheat and the binge as a metabolism boost could even allow you to up your calories a little bit the next day, not too much, but a cheat or a binge makes your metabolism work much harder to process the extra calories. If you drop your calories the day after a binge, you're putting your body in starvation mode, and it will mess up your metabolism. So you can even like up your calories a little bit. It's not going to make you more fat. Food is not the enemy. That's really like the main point that I want to get out here. So I always go back to my normal macros and just go back to normal, pretend that it didn't happen, but like not really. Stay consistent. The few days after that I had my binge, it actually kind of made me like push that much harder to stay super consistent. I always tell my friends and my clients that being consistent is like the absolute #1 most paramount thing that you can do to see your results. So why not do it right after you've had like a big mess up? Stay 1000% consistent. Limit your intake of artificial sweeteners. I know I always talk about artificial sweeteners and how I love them. Like, I love my Diet Cokes and my Monster and things like that. But I noticed that during my prep, when I cut them out, I had a far less cravings. Even now, when I like limit my intake of them and I try to not have Diet Coke and things like that, when I limit my intake of artificial sweeteners, I notice huge drops in cravings and huge drops in hunger triggers in my brain. So I would absolutely recommend just like sticking to your water. You're going to want to be drinking a lot of it anyway, so don't waste your fluid intake on artificial sweeteners, because it's going to make you even like more hungry, and gum and things like that, they're just going to make you, it's going to trigger something in your brain to make you want to binge again. So seriously, I know that it's tough. Artificial sweeteners are great. Limit your intake of them after a binge. Last but not least, don't stress about it. Seriously, this can only perpetuate the process and make things worse. Don't stress. Cortisol is already increased. It happened. It's in the past now. You can't worry about things that already happened. All you can do is move forward and use your actions for the next few hours, few days, weeks, anything like that, towards positivity and just moving forward in a better direction. And you can't let what happened last night or what happened in the past affect you for the next day. And that's with anything in life, honestly. So don't let it stress don't let it stress you out. Do something not stressful, like lay by the pool. I really like to journal. It helps me to write down like what happened and the feelings that I was feeling during the binge. What else? I kind of just like write down what happened, and even that is like a huge stress relief to me. The other thing that really helped me with binging before I end this video, I forget the title, I forget the author of the book, but the book Brain Over Binge by, I forget the author's name, honestly, but I got it on Amazon. It really helped me figure out what binging was in my head, because it can be really confusing when it continuously happens and you kind of just like get in that really bad cycle and into a deep dark hole. But it reminded me that binging is something that I can control. It helped me figure out that I'm not crazy, it's just triggers in my head and I don't have to listen to them because I can control my actions and the voices in my head can't. So I hope that I don't sound like an insane person at the end of this video, and I hope the people that are watching it take me for as I am, and I love you guys who do. Like, I know a lot of you commented on my picture and were like, I totally look up to you for opening up, because a lot of people can't open up about it. It's a really tough subject. Like, you feel really embarrassed when you lose control, when you have control all the time. So I really appreciate you guys letting me share and talk about this with you guys, and I'm doing this just in hopes of like hopefully getting through to somebody else, and hopefully having this video for them to like refer back to when they're feeling bad. So like and subscribe if you liked this video. I don't even care about your likes and subscribes right now, I just want to like help you guys. So let me know if this helped at all, and I really appreciate your feedback, and I really appreciate you guys letting me share with you. So bye.